Hey guys, this is Tayeb, and I wanted to take a quick look at the new developer update things that they put on the forums about the crossplay, because I've seen on Reddit that there's been a lot of people not happy about the state of this update because of certain things they implemented, and I think they implemented it without really talking to the players, and I think that's really really bad. So I just wanted to, as a game developer, this also really interested me, so I wanted to do a quick video chiming in on it. So essentially, with today's crossplay update, which was amazing, by the way, I think it's really good, and I think it's something that they should have implemented earlier. The fact that I can play with console players on PC, or console players can play with each other, despite what console they're on, I think that's fantastic and something that they should have done earlier. Other games have done it for a while now. I think Call of Duty, all the big games. So I think that was something that should have been done earlier. I'm glad it's been done. I think it's really good to unify players like that. One of the things they wanted to implement alongside this, though, seemed to be server region locking. I guess soft locking the region that you're in. I want to talk through this because it's kind of strange. So historically, the way that Overwatch has always worked when it came to regions is that on the Battle.net launcher, when you first open the Battle.net launcher, like I'm actually going to do now, 'cause I think I've still got the old Battle.net launcher I don't think I've updated it, so you should be able to see the region swapper. But essentially, historically, the way it always worked was that you'd be able to, yeah, here we are. So you'd be able to click this button, and you'd be able to click what region you wanted to play in, and all of the matchmaking games that you would have played would be on that region. So if I selected Europe, which is where I am, I will always get European servers. If I selected Americas, I would always get American servers, which I think is great. And it was a nice way to give players control of where they wanted to play. But essentially, this doesn't matter anymore. And I think with the latest Battle.net update, they've just removed this option entirely, because now what's happening is that they are putting everything. They're making everything happen automatically. They are automatically going to put you in the best data center they can find for you, in their opinion, which is interesting. So I, as someone who's in Europe, when I go into queue into a game, it will put me normally into a European game, and they actually have a list. They actually have a list of servers, and I will find the list somewhere. But yeah, essentially, I don't know where I put it. Here we are. So they have all these are Overwatch's data centers, and yeah, they've provided a way of like checking which data center you're playing on. You automatically get put into one of these. If I'm in Europe, historically, if I were to have queued with Europe, I would get these two, France and the Netherlands. Those were my servers that I would always go onto. If I were to queue for Americas, I would normally get US West, because that was the closest server to me in America. But now that's completely gone. So now it will automatically put you into whichever server it thinks is best for you, which is contentious to say the least. Now, I've seen a lot of people complaining on Reddit and being really annoyed. I want to talk through the positives and negatives of this, and I'll give my 2 cents, because this interested me as a game developer. So first things first, you now no longer need to quit out of the game and swap your region to play with friends that are on a different region, which is actually something I do a lot. So this has been a good change for me in that sort of sense. I have a lot of friends on NA. I play in a team on NA, even though I'm in EU. But when I'm playing ranked, I will play in EU ranked. So I often found myself having to switch, and that would mean closing out of the client, closing out of the launcher, and then opening it up again, and in the different region that I want to join, which is frustrating and annoying. And the fact that they've unified everything now, so it is really nice. So essentially, I can be playing my EU matches, and then, hey, my NA friends have come on, I'll just invite them to a group and we can just play. That's fantastic. I think that's really nice. That's one positive outcome of this global update that they did. It's called the Global Play Update for this reason, but there are a lot of negatives too. A lot of players play on regions of their choice outside of what Blizzard thinks is the best region for them. A lot of players play on NA despite being EU players because they feel like the quality of games in NA are better, despite the higher ping, which is interesting. And I can completely understand that's really frustrating. I know a lot of streamers do this as well, because historically EU haven't they don't people in EU don't really communicate as much as people in NA do. I'm not sure why. I just guess people from America are more social, I think. I don't know. It's difficult. I don't really know why that is, but that's what they do. And so it seems what people did was, especially streamers, is that they would deliberately queue in the American servers because they had the choice to, and the quality of games would often be better. Now though, they can't do that. Blizzard will automatically put them into the best server. So normally it will be EU, and I say normally because that isn't always the case. What has happened, and what people have spotted, is that people are getting put into other servers that they don't want to be because it alleviates queue times, which I think is very interesting. Let's have a read of their update, and we'll go from there. So here's a quick clarification. Today's global BattleNet update has caused some confusion in the community about region locking. So why can't I swap regions anymore? They removed it. Essentially, they said you are placed into the best match based on a variety of factors, including player skill and ping. Now, this is interesting. Getting more technical, it is because the regions themselves no longer exist. This isn't an Overwatch specific thing. This is a Blizzard thing. This is a BattleNet thing across all of BattleNet now. It seems like they're just removing regions. I'm curious as to how this will play out in World of Warcraft. I'm not sure how they're gonna, because those two games are separate. Like, they literally have different games for EU and NA, but I don't know. We'll see. Or at least not in the way that players traditionally understand them. So there's no region to swap to. But my friends all play in a different region than I do. That's fine. You can just still group up with your friends, but it will automatically put you in a server that it thinks is best for you and your friends. So our systems work to place you in a game with the lowest ping and the best skill level for your party. Essentially, it looks at both SR and ping to find the best game for you. These changes are aimed at ensuring that queue times are minimized and that the average ping is relatively low. Outside of gameplay, the general chat contains players from all regions. Again, this is a small thing, but it's kind of nice that you can talk to people around the world. What isn't nice though is having your servers controlled. Games like Apex Legends give you control over which server you want to, or which data center even that you want to connect to. So you can connect and play on whichever data center you want. We know we don't have this, and that can be really frustrating. But also, like as they said here, we have made a configuration change recently, post-release, that should greatly reduce the frequency of getting into matches with high ping. This will be a knob that they will have to tune. How often you get games of high ping is going to be interesting. Because, to be honest, not many people will want to be playing on, let's say, Oceania servers or Korean servers when they're all the way in NA or EU. The ping is high. There is a language barrier that is also really frustrating, because if you imagine someone from NA or EU who speaks English getting put into a Korean game, like Custer did, so Custer actually got put into a Korean game with 180 ping, and that must have been really frustrating. I would be frustrated in that situation, because if I can't communicate effectively with my teammates, then that's going to be game over for me. I'm going to struggle. So they really have to strike this balance well for this to work in some capacity. But again, I don't think it's a good idea to take this control away from the players. I think the players are the ones who are playing the game at the end of the day, who want to dictate how they want to play the game, and so we should allow them to. They've said that many of the reports we've seen today of players getting into mismatched regions have been at incredibly high MMR as the system expands its parameters to find a fair match. Now, obviously, a very high or a very low MMR or SR, it's going to struggle to find games because there is very few players in your bracket of skill. So the queue times are obviously higher, and so the system thinks, oh, the queue times are going to be really high if I don't find a different server to put you in, or something like that. Now, again, I think a lot of players would prefer waiting a long time for a better quality of game, especially with lower ping. As Chris points out here, the simple answer is you are placed into the best match. Well, this is a matter of opinion, and this is true. You're not placed into the best match, you're placed into the best match according to Blizzard's opinion. My opinion, I would rather leave the game than pretend as if I'm playing Quake World in 1995 on a modem with ping of 250. And so, yeah, that's well put, because players will not want 200 ping games. I can, personally, having played on many different regions, I can play up to about 170 as my absolute maximum, and after that it just becomes not fun to play the game at all. So if it's really frustrating to be put in that and not have the control over that, because if you're just put into games that you can't communicate with people with, and the ping is high or too high to play well, then it's gonna be a difficult time for you. You're not going to enjoy your game. One thing that does give me hope is that we'll continue to keep an eye on this and make adjustments as needed. I'm sure they will. I'm 100% sure they will. The community has been really, really vocal about this. They've been extremely vocal about this. They do not like this change. Personally, I'm okay with most of it. It's just really frustrating when you are used to choosing the servers that you play on, and then you just don't have that control anymore. I can understand that's completely frustrating. And I think the most frustrating thing is being pulled out of your own servers that are supposed to be best for you, and then just being put in a Korean server like Custer did, for example. Because that's also got to be really annoying. See, this is what happens when you take away the control from the player. On the whole, generally speaking, it's an interesting change, because yes, you can group up with your friends without switching out of this or changing your region, regardless of what region they're in. I think that's good, but yeah, not having control is not good. Interestingly, in Europe, you could have been put into before all of this change. You could have been put into the Bahrain server for the Middle East. I don't know why that was grouped with Europe and not Asia. I do not know. It might be an internet routing thing. I'm not sure, but whenever I was playing with my friends that were from the Middle East, they would always have to queue in the Europe region, which means, and occasionally they would get games that were really high ping, and sometimes they games that are really low ping because of the data center that they're in. So sometimes they'd get their closest data center in Bahrain, but sometimes they would get one of the France or Netherlands ones, which is like 150 ping. So yeah, that was what happens, and that is frustrating. So now that could happen to anyone is even more frustrating. It's worth noting that this will only happen on it should only happen for people at really high MMRs or low MMRs. But I mean, that will be something that remains to be seen. So let's have a look through the FAQ and see what they said. So I selected the Americas region in the Battle.net app launcher, but I'm connecting to European. What gives? Yeah, again, that would be really frustrating if you want to play NA, but then you just put into EU, which is what happened to me earlier. It was really weird for me, because I went to queue as I normally do when I'm playing with my NA friends. I selected the Americas region, and then I went into the training range. My ping was 37, and I was like, wait, what? Why is my ping 37? I genuinely thought I selected the wrong region, because they didn't communicate this change at all. So I had to go back in, and then I realized that they must have done this with the crossplay change. They must have merged all the servers together. And so what was really strange is just playing my EU games and then just being able to invite my friends that were NA straight into the group, and then just playing on NA like that. It was really strange, because it was nice, but yeah, again, not communicated. So they said, no, the matchmaker will sometimes put players in data centers farther away in order to accommodate certain aspects of matchmaking, such as connection, and MMR, and things like that, at or low peak times for certain data centers. So obviously, if you're let's say you're on EU, then you're playing at 3 a.m. There's barely going to be any players on EU. It might throw you into NA. Again, I don't know how I feel about that. Or yeah, it's difficult. I don't know. I think it would be nice to have a data center selector, honestly, in game. I think that's just the nicest solution to this problem. Or at least it be toggled, so like you can have it automatically select region for you, or at least you get the choice. Either way, I don't know. I can see why a lot of people are upset. I play with friends from another region. Which data center will be connected to? Yeah, it's difficult from the player's perspective to give a specific answer for any combination of players. However, it's more likely to jump from data center to data center when you're grouped with a player not in the same region as you, which can result in a larger ping for one of the players in your group, one or more. Obviously, if you have people from different regions, I think what their system will try and do is put you in the lowest average ping data center. But I mean, again, I don't know how well that's going to work, because you always will be in something. You will always be in a data center that is going to be high for at least one person in that group. They should do it how Apex does it. I agree, because Apex is very nice in that when you launch the game, you have the option to change which data center specifically you're connected to, and that doesn't seem to impact them too much. I think that's a solid strategy. I think that should be something they do. I hope so, at least, but I don't think they will. They did this change for a specific reason. I think they wanted to make things from a social perspective. They want to merge regions together to make it easier for their systems, and for game developer stuff, to make it easier to push out changes maybe, or to make different changes, or maybe they've got some changes planned that this is very good for. Who knows? It might have been a crossplay thing as well. So I don't know. They obviously had business reasons to do this. So yeah, I can't really speak for them because I don't know, but yeah, I have a feeling they had very specific business reasons to do this. If it was because Overwatch's numbers are dwindling and people are complaining about queue times, I don't know if this was the solution to that. Realistically, the solution to bad queue times is by pulling in more players, and frankly, they've decided not to update the game as much over the last 2 years to focus on Overwatch 2. So I don't know. I don't know. Well, I think most players are just waiting out for Overwatch 2 at this point. Isn't there a way to block IP addresses so that I don't have to play on specific data centers? There is, but you risk technical malfunctions, lever penalties, and connection issues. Yeah. It's also not entirely effective, as they change IP addresses on these data centers periodically. So do it at your own risk. Yep. So what you can do is you can block certain IPs, so your computer can't send data or receive data from those IP addresses, which is I wouldn't recommend doing that, because as they said, IP addresses on these data centers are static, but they will change regularly, okay, depending on what cloud provider they're using. And so because these data centers will change their IPs, that's not a good system. And also, you don't know what's under the hood of Overwatch, and how their connection system works. So you can't just block an IP and hope for the best, because yeah, what might happen is it might try and connect you to a data center, and it might realize that it might think that you quit, and you might lose SR, for example. I think crossplay will bring in a few people. I think crossplay will bring in a lot of people, actually, and I think a lot more people will stop playing the game because of that, and I think that's a good change. But if people are complaining about being put into random queues on a different region, then that might turn a few people off. Granted, I think what will happen is they'll tune it so that it only happens extremely rarely, but it will happen. And I think at the end of the day, it will have to be something that Overwatch players will live with. I don't know. Would a VPN service help? If it can have a better influence to which region you prefer to play on, but it will not guarantee that you'll only play in that location. They're essentially saying here that we don't want you to choose what we don't want you to choose what data center you play on. That's what they're saying. I'm on my home server, but I have a lot of latency. What's going on? This may be a connection issue not related to your geographical distance. Yeah, troubleshooter. That may be happening on your end. That can cause this. Yeah, that's probably just a local issue. So yeah, as a sort of example, the Wyoming Mist, he's a tech support guy for Overwatch. He recorded his games throughout the day. So of 10 games, I don't know what SR he plays at. He hasn't said this, but he played 10 games, win-win, loss, and then he played one match of these 10 on 150 ping. So if we take this as the only data we have right now, if we take this as 1 in 10 games you'll play on a different server, yeah, I don't know how to feel about that. Personally, as someone who's played a lot on NA, I don't mind playing about 140 ping. I can deal with it. It's not ideal, but I can deal with it. Yeah, it's an interesting. problem? Oh, these are all quick play? Oh, shit. Okay. I thought these were competitive. Okay. Interesting that they move you in quick play games too. It matters less in quick play because it is just a casual mode, so I don't really care too much. But yeah, I wasn't sure. Interesting. Okay. Well, that's the situation right now, and the fact is they are tracking who gets put into what games, and I know they'll be looking at tuning that knob as best as they possibly can. So far, I haven't been put in any servers. I've only played for 1 day with the crossplay update. So yeah, I'm unsure. Should we have a look at the global play update to see what their reasoning was? Okay, let's have a look. So welcome to a new global BattleNet. So it's for the BattleNet launcher as a whole. We're breaking down barriers. We envision BattleNet as a place for players to connect, collaborate, etc. It is nice for the social aspect to be able to merge everything. When BattleNet came out, there was a purpose to deliver a connected multiplayer experience for a single title. And then obviously, fast forward 10 to 15 years, and they've evolved and they have multiple titles. Yeah, we know this. So friends lists was one thing. Yeah, so friends lists were separate. It was very strange for me to log into Overwatch and see my friends from NA be on my friends list when I was on the EU. That was very strange for me because normally they're split. So it is nice that your friends are now no longer split based on region. I think that's a good change. As Global BattleNet rolls out. Players around the world will be able to come together all across a larger Blizzard ecosystem without any hurdle. I can't speak. A larger Blizzard ecosystem without any hurdles for the first time ever. Like I said, from a social perspective, this is very nice. Socially, this is very nice for them to be able to make social features globally. Have they given a reason? We've also updated our logo. Great. It's a nice logo. We realized some time ago that our players would be better served by a global BattleNet that did away with the concept of regions, says Jeff Allison. But breaking down these barriers was a significant engineering task. I'm sure it was. Like, they had this whole system set up, so it must have taken a massive rework across not just Overwatch developers, but just BattleNet and Blizzard developers as a whole. So now that we've done it, we look forward to a future where all BattleNet players can communicate and game together no matter where they are. So does this mean in World of Warcraft there's no longer going to be that split? I don't know. So BattleNet Global updates also includes cross-platform functionality. It might have been a cross-platform thing as well. I'm not sure though. This has given our game developers the ability to let you play between PC and console. Yep. Why am I yawning so much today? Overwatch players will be the first to experience the new crossplay capabilities. Yep. You will be able to make friends anywhere as the games published on BattleNet begin to utilize this evolved experience. So other games are going to get it. Overwatch gets it first, but other games are going to get it. We look forward to a future where billions of players worldwide can make friends and play together, etc. These backend updates to BattleNet will also enable developers to build even more globally connected experiences, and I think this is the main thing. They only put it, they tacked it in at the end with a sentence, but I think this is the main reason they did this. It's because they have changes in the works that require like a global system. That's most likely anyway from a game developer's perspective, which I can see why they did that, honestly. I just don't like the way and the manner in which they did it. I don't think that's a smart way of doing things. But anyway, yeah, that's interesting. Have we had any other so Australia has always been it's very out of the way, and its internet has been notoriously bad. Australia always has bad ping. I really hope that players from NA and EU don't get put on Oceania and Australia servers, because those servers, they are so far away, have extremely high ping. Also, for people who are in the Australia servers, if they get like taken out of Australia and have to deal with Korean ping or like EU ping, that's going to be really frustrated for them, because those pings will be awful. I'm glad that they're monitoring it. I'm glad that they're going to change it. a little bit over time. How good that will be will remain to be seen. So yeah, that will be interesting. Um, so yeah, it's an interesting scenario, and we'll have to see how this plays out. I don't think it's as bad as the people on Reddit make it out to be. I genuinely don't. I don't think this is going to be that bad that people are going to like just end up they're stopping like playing the game. But it's frustrating for sure. Either way, hopefully it leads to a more connected future on the positives, and there are some good positives to this change as well. But yeah, how well this plays out remains to be seen. So we'll have to see moving forward in the near future. Anyway, yeah, I just wanted to chime in on this. It was really interesting to me. So yeah, it will be interesting to see how well this plays out.